Some people turn staying at home into art. They are so cool they don't need external confirmation. Society, of course, treats them as anomalies. Why would anyone voluntarily avoid the Friday night ritual of overpriced drinks? But the truth is, these people are quietly conducting experiments that the social majority will never notice. They are psychologists, philosophers, and secret magicians of the ordinary. I know how great they are because I am one of them. Psychologically, they thrive on controlled environments. Behavioral scientists call this stimulus regulation, the ability to modulate what comes into your sensory and emotional field. For the average social butterfly, the world offers a buffet of unpredictable chaos. For the homebody, chaos is a condiment, used sparingly, in carefully measured doses. They cultivate an ecosystem that maximizes comfort and curiosity. Carl Jung might have smiled at them. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. Nothing to be ashamed of. If anything, maybe it's a sign of high intelligence. Emily Dickinson famously transformed a life of voluntary seclusion into a poetic multiverse, proving that staying home is not a social failure. Even Virginia Woolf advised us to lock the door and write, acknowledging that the most productive and reflective moments of life often occur behind walls the world deems ordinary. Homebodies know the secret. The outside world is overrated. You don't need to go to a festival to experience chaos. The grocery store aisle will suffice. Social obligations are mostly ceremonial performances. If you don't want to act fake, you abstain from these rituals. Personality research concludes that high introversion correlates with higher prefrontal cortex activity when processing social information. Essentially, group hangouts are a mental obstacle of sorts. Those who love staying home are avoiding cognitive depletion, such as the power of solitude. These people are deliberately conserving mental capital, making the home their fortress of emotional liquidity. And yet, homebodies are rarely lonely. They construct layered realities, populated by books, music, and the occasional pet, creatures who require no small talk and never judge if you skip a shower. Even social interactions become chosen. A homebody might have 2 friends and know them intimately, compared to 30 acquaintances at a bar who could not recall your name if their life depended on it. Some people turn staying at home into art. They are so cool they don't need external confirmation. Society, of course, treats them as anomalies. Why would anyone voluntarily avoid the Friday night ritual of overpriced drinks? But the truth is, these people are quietly conducting experiments that the social majority will never notice. They are psychologists, philosophers, and secret magicians of the ordinary. Loving home is not laziness, as some folks might accuse you of. It is a reclaiming of time from the merciless currents of social expectation. As Blaise Pascal once wrote, all men's miseries derive from not being able to sit in a quiet room alone. Those who embrace staying home have taken that advice seriously, and perhaps wittily, and with just a little smugness, they have turned it into a lifestyle that most people can only envy. Across cultures and eras, the practice of withdrawing from the public world has carried different meanings. In ancient China, hermits would retreat into mountains or secluded groves, cultivating quiet observation, poetry, and Taoist meditation. They were attuning themselves to rhythms that cities could never teach. Their isolation was a laboratory for perception and understanding, a slow distillation of wisdom. In medieval Europe, anchorites and anchoresses, men and women enclosed in small cells attached to churches, spent decades in self-imposed solitude, living through prayer, contemplation, and symbolic dialogue with the divine. The walls of their cells were both prison and sanctuary, and the world outside existed as a distant echo. They became repositories of knowledge, memory, and spiritual insight, valued paradoxically both for their absence and the guidance they could offer through letters or spiritual counsel. Even in more recent history, intellectuals, artists, and scientists have deliberately retreated from the world. Kafka wrote almost entirely in his room, constructing universes of absurdity and reflection that could only emerge in solitude. Nikola Tesla conducted experiments in hotel rooms and private labs, developing inventions that reshaped the modern world while avoiding crowds that would fragment his focus. Some people turn staying at home into art. They are so cool they don't need external confirmation. Society, of course, treats them as anomalies. Why would anyone voluntarily avoid the Friday night ritual of overpriced drinks? But the truth is, these people are quietly conducting experiments that the social majority will never notice. They are psychologists, philosophers, and secret magicians of the ordinary. Staying alone in your room is more than a physical act. It's an emotional and psychological ritual, a retreat into a personal microcosm. People don't always do it because they are shy or lazy. Often, it's an instinctive response to social absurdity, or the subtle hum of anxiety that modern life constantly generates. The room becomes an environment where the mind can breathe and wander without interruption. Let me tell you this: if you meet a loner, no matter what they tell you, it's not because they enjoy solitude. It's because they have tried to blend into the world before, and people continue to disappoint them. After all, if you're lonely when you're alone, you're in bad company. And people who like to stay home alone are never in bad company.